800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You live in America, you've got a credit report, and I promise you it is wrong. In decades of looking at credit reports, I have yet to see one that is completely accurate. Even if it's got a high score, I always find return errors on the credit reports. You just need to go to Credit Sanitizer. They will help you solve that problem. Do it well before you're looking to buy a new house, a new car. They've got a satisfaction guarantee, so you really are not going to go wrong with them. The story this morning, 0% on long-term capital gains. There are still some loopholes, or some guidelines, I should say, from the Bush tax cuts, where you may qualify for a 0 rate on long-term capital gains if you qualify. And those are based on capital gains that might fall within the 10 and 15% federal rate brackets. The issue here that I want you to understand, once again, I like to share this with you all the time. How does it work? I don't know. Why does it work? I don't know. I don't even know why a thermos works. I don't know how it knows to keep something hot or something cold. What I do know is that these are still on the books, and even though they tried to get rid of them with the American Taxpayer Relief Act, they didn't. So you may qualify, joint filer, 2 kids, standard deduction, you may qualify for this, but you may not qualify if you don't know to look for it, you don't know to ask for it, you may not get it even though you qualify. How many billions of dollars are left at the IRS each year, federal government each year, by people filing their taxes incorrectly? Now I suggest, if you don't know the questions, how do you get the right answers? Get a hold of a professional. You need professional advice. So when I share with you that I've got this story right in front of me, I could read the whole thing to you, bore you to death. It wouldn't affect 90% of you, but it may affect some. The question here is, does it affect your kids? Does it affect your grandkids? And have you talked to them about it? Do you even know to talk to them about it? That's the idea. That is the Word on Wealth segment. Know the questions, not the answers. Speaking of questions and your household board of directors, we are speaking this morning with Amy Von Esch Law Group. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Ron.
Glad to have you in studio with us. Amy, your specialty family law, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to chat family. Sometimes it's a scary world out there.
It can be.
I guess the idea, though, is it might be a little easier if you've got some great advice, if you know where to go. What's included? I mean, I know most of us don't even know the term family law. We don't realize that that's more of the, I guess, the official term for divorce lawyers.
It is, because when people think of divorce lawyers, they think of just the divorce, but divorce encompasses so much more than just the husband and wife separating. Family law deals with custody and visitation, property division, business evaluations, domestic violence, restraining orders, prenuptial agreements, and modifications to orders, and getting someone to a final judgment of a dissolution of marriage. But a family law lawyer can also do nullities.
Do what was that one?
Nullities.
I've never even heard of that one.
It's basically when the marriage isn't a very long marriage, like 6 months. So
gotcha.
They annul the marriage. And they can do legal separations as well, where you basically do a dissolution of marriage, but at the end of the day, you're not put back to single status.
Interesting. So a lot of areas that are covered, so it's not just divorce, but there's a lot of, maybe it is focused around divorce, but there's so much to it more than just, me and my wife can't get along and we're off and running.
Yes.
Interesting. So when we start dealing with the divorce issue, though, the next step that many of us deal with, especially in Southern California, we've got a lot of homeowners. So how do we decide who's going to get the house, who's not going to get the house? How does all of that work?
Well, that goes into the realm of the property division, and it just depends on the assets of the couple, of the spouses, and who has the ability to buy the other party out of the house when you equalize the division of the community estate.
In this area, that seems like it might be very tricky in the sense that there's so many of us that are two income households, and we're living day to day, and we've got, you know, the house, the kids, the mortgage, 17 cars, we're going on trips, all of these different things that if we were able to really afford, if one of us could afford, that might be unique, isn't it?
Sometimes, because generally the house is the largest asset of the couple. So in determining who's going to buy each other out, the other person has to qualify for the loan. If there's any equity in the house, they have to qualify for the current loan. And if there's no other assets to divide, then they have to add on the division of the equity to the current loan to buy the other party out to get them off of the loan. Because generally, not giving legal advice,
Right.
but generally there's not going to be an attorney that's going to say to their client, yeah, let wife, for instance, have the house and you should stay on the loan so that she can keep the house with the kids and so forth. He's not going to jeopardize his credit by staying on the loan. An attorney's going to advise him, well, you can do that, but I wouldn't advise you to do that. You
And as a lender, I would say the same thing.
You should refi the house, get off the loan so you can qualify for something else to, you know, have your children be able to go to your home and not just be renting. So that's what you would do in
Sure.
that situation.
That's a key component right there. As having led a lending team, doing lending for many, many years, one of the big issues that you want to remember is there's a difference between the hard, cold facts of the law and what may come between what the judge may come out with, and sometimes what the practicalities are of lenders. Lenders can, while they have to follow the law, they can put additional restrictions over and above what the law might say. So with what Amy's talking about here, where, you know, the husband or the wife might say, okay, you know, the other party can stay in the property, we'll leave the loan on there even if there's no equity, or we'll make other arrangements, maybe there's other assets to pay them out. Don't do it. It's a big downfall to the party, the vacating party, because they're liable anyway.